When we think of effective leaders, an image that often comes to mind is of someone heroically leading the way, of someone who is perhaps the strongest, fastest, or smartest member of a team, but certainly the person in charge, moving forward confidently and boldly while exhorting others to follow. And by their very nature, leaders tend to be visionary, high energy, and driven. Whether in a formal leadership position or leading informally among their peers, they want to get things done, and almost reflexively, they want to lead from the front. And hey, let's be honest, it just plain feels good to roll up your sleeves, jump down into the trenches, and get to work doing things. And this tends to work really well when leading small teams, especially teams of people who are all focused on similar or repetitive tasks. But when leading diverse, cross-functional, or distributed teams, leading from the front is often the wrong approach. It can make it difficult to keep a team unified, to track and guide a team's progress. And in the worst case, a hard-charging leader gets out ahead of their team, and that team begins to lose momentum and fall behind. You see, despite our habit of imagining leaders as setting the pace for others to follow, it turns out the best place from which to lead is often from the back. And if you're a doer by nature and experience, that can be pretty disconcerting. One of my clients experienced this recently. The founder and CEO of a multi-million-dollar startup and its small team of roughly a dozen people, she was reflexively leading her company from the front. She was first in, last out, and constantly running. She told me that at the end of a busy day, and they were all busy days, she was exhausted, but just didn't feel like she'd accomplished much. So I suggested putting a twist on the question, what did I accomplish today? And turning it into, what did I help my team accomplish today? To answer that question, I recommend GADO. Now, forgive this old Marine and former stage actor for being fond of acronyms and obscure theater puns. GADO stands for Guide, Advise, Direct, and Overwatch. It's a leadership concept I use to manage my time while encouraging trust, initiative, adaptability, and innovation to get the most out of a team. Now, as leaders, some of our primary responsibilities are to communicate a shared vision and set concrete, measurable, achievable goals, then get out of the way and keep our eye on the path out ahead. Once we've articulated our team's goals, we can provide our GAD. We can give guidance to our team members to suggest how they might go about achieving their goals. We can give advice to suggest how they should go about achieving those goals. And we can give direction to tell them how they must go about achieving those goals. And by articulating concrete goals and providing clear GAD, we set the conditions to recognize and realize, literally to make real, the unlimited potential and possibility our team members have to offer. Now, this enables creation of strategies and solutions far greater than anything even the most experienced and inspired leaders could come up with on our own. And that done, we can move into a position of overwatch. Rather than leading from the front, we can lead from the back. Observe the members of our team as they advance toward shared goals and objectives. And from that vantage point, and by making ourselves available to give help and permission, we become free to do two essential things as leaders. First, we can see when someone starts to run a tire up over the curb and guide them back on track. Or even better, recognize that up and over the curb is actually the best way to go and update our GAD to help orient our team in a new direction. Second, we can see when someone has gotten tangled up or hit a brick wall and then come forward to unfoul the lines or break down the barrier. Now consider Fezzik the Giant in the movie The Princess Bride. He wasn't the formal leader of his team, but stepped up to lead when the situation called for it. And when he saw Inigo Montoya throwing himself repeatedly but fruitlessly against a barred door, Fezzik stepped forward, knocked the door open, and stepped aside to let Inigo Montoya pass, then followed him through to be available when and where he was needed most. Now, by focusing his strength as a leader at the right place, the slow-moving Fezzik enabled Inigo to unleash the speed and skill that put the six-fingered man at the tip of his sword. Now, at first, leading from Overwatch can seem disconcerting, like we aren't doing the things we imagine leaders should be doing, especially if we're used to being a hands-on leader at the front. But once we communicate clear goals and provide sound GAD, we can step back into Overwatch and make ourselves available to give our team members the help and permission along the way. Now, from there, the answer to the question, what did I help my team accomplish today, soon becomes a lengthy and satisfying list. Thanks for sharing this time with me. I hope these tips prove helpful to you as you strive to become the kind of leader you'd want to follow.